Hi, today I'm going to talk to you about the benefits of being mentored. Last week, Doug Rank provided good insights on the how and why of mentoring, and I want to share with you about the benefits I've received from being mentored in my life. Because I'm grateful for the people, the events, the life moments, the stories, the books, the movies, the disappointments, the revelations, losses, the tears, the hugs, the graces which have influenced my thinking and life perspective, and these have encouraged me to be a person always growing to be more of who God intends me to be and who He wants me to become. I'm indebted to those who purposefully invested in me and influenced my life. And there are those I only observed or read about who captured my thoughts and imagination to envision another way for me to approach life situations that I encountered. So many inputs which transformed my provincial thinking and my personal sense of righteousness or wanting to be right. Have you ever had a moment or an event which caused you to pause and to begin some thorough personal introspection? I recall times when I was struck by the thought of, could I be wrong about what I did or how I am thinking? Now for me, as a person who can be overly certain of my rectitude, this is quite a disconcerting question. It can make me defensive as I rush to counter the potential assertion that I don't know it all. For me, this is the benefit of being mentored. Gaining a different perspective to consider. Being told a hard truth. Being held accountable. Being cared about when I felt the sting of failure. Finding I truly am not as perfect as I thought. Shown that my perspective was not the only viewpoint. Being charged with taking responsibility for my words and actions. Ouch! This list can go on for a while. As a person who often just wanted to be right, to have the mirror of reflection placed before me was bracing. It was painful and often came with some personal shame on my part. To realize that my vanity, my self-righteousness, and certainty could have caused pain or kept me from doing my best or hindered someone else was a burden of regret. I felt like running and hiding, but the millstone of personal responsibility and conscience would not release me quite so easily. I wanted to be an honorable, dependable, responsible person of integrity, and these seeming personal failures felt to me like black marks against my soul. What to do? I answered the call of Christ at age 10 at an altar call during a summer revival meeting at Shiloh Baptist Church in Carson, Virginia. I remember stepping into the aisle and walking forward to the pastor to say I wanted to give my heart to Jesus. I didn't know why. I just felt compelled to respond to the welling up of conviction in my heart and probably a few hymns sung over and over. The pastor welcomed me and sat me down in the front pew, and I began to cry. Now, I didn't know why I was crying, and I remember questioning myself about what was wrong with me and feeling embarrassed about my hot tears. I hoped no one would notice and we could just forget the whole thing happened. And nothing was said about that moment until the pastor got out of his car, probably a couple of months later, at our house, and my mom was suddenly right in front of me. She looked me in the eyes and just asked, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." A little scared about what I just committed myself to. Pastor, he did his counsel with me to prepare me for baptism. He was nice, he was optimistic, he was friendly, and he was encouraging me, and he treated me as an individual who had the agency to make this life-altering decision. He mentored me to the baptismal pool, gave me my first Bible, and I began reading and listening and contemplating what it meant to be a Southern Baptist Christian. Now, as a person prone to feelings of guilt and regret, Southern Baptist theology was quite supportive of nurturing that mindset. Thank goodness for my Uncle Charlie Pratt. Charlie was a man of faithful conviction with a playful sense of humor. He led the youth organization at our church for boys called the Royal Ambassadors. He took us camping and he organized a football team, a baseball team, a track and field team. He picked us up every Saturday and he took us home each week. I really look forward to being with him as I felt reassured by his good nature and willingness to talk with us about God and manners and sports and life. He was a mentor in how he led and joked around with us and made us all feel comfortable. So how has mentoring benefited me in my life? in every way imaginable. My dad, Bud Smelley, was steadfast, faithful, hardworking, demanding, and the family provider of sustenance and emotional strength. He's my true north of being a reliable, faithful man of God, living with integrity. Charlie Pratt, my uncle, encouraged me to believe in myself. Coach Larry Springer opened doors of running opportunity in high school by believing in me and taking me to meets that people just didn't go to back then. Miss Preston, my high school history teacher, debated with me, listened to me, disagreed with me without making me feel wrong. That was new. Mr. Rogers, my junior high band teacher, demanded excellence and directed me to become a better musician while engaging as an individual and inviting us into his office to talk about life and things. Dr. Keith Eicher in the University of Richmond Education Department saw potential in me as an education leader and pushed me out of my provincial thinking, which was limited to the area in the country where I grew up. He opened up my world and vision for risk-taking. Coach Fred Hardy, my college cross-country and track and field coach, demanded that I run faster with consistent training and the integrity of his simple, direct life philosophy to do what he told me. He made me think of bigger races to win, and I probably learned as much what not to do as to do from his coaching, but he helped me a lot by holding me accountable. Now, Coach Bill Jordan was Coach Hardy's counter opposite. He was assistant track and field coach and one of my teachers in the physical education major, and he told me stories about people's successes and people's failures. And he quietly believed in me. He didn't demand things, he just believed in me, and behind the scenes, he opened up doors in my life that allowed me to get into college coaching, got me into graduate school, and it gave me academic honors. He became a lifelong friend, and he encouraged me along the way to seek higher things. Don Bragg, my college roommate for 3 years, we influenced one another with our different outlooks on life. We had fun together, and he was a faithful and true friend in a way I had never before enjoyed, and we remain friends to this day. Don Church was a critical person in my life who hit me at a time when things were changing. He was at Wheaton College, and he was a cross-country track and field coach, and one of my friends who had run with me in high school was there at Wheaton, and through that connection, I got the opportunity to go and compete on a track team summer tour in Eastern Europe. That was eye-opening. That was transformational. In 1978, when it was still the Iron Curtain. And this awakened in me my spiritual growth, being around men who were Christians and sang songs together and just talked about things that I just hadn't been talking about for the previous 5 years. Don recommended my name to Westmont and became a personal mentor who introduced me to Henry Nouwen, especially the book on leadership called In the Name of Jesus. And he always, when I talked with him, pointed me to Jesus. Jim Crakes, my rival, the Point Loma University coach for cross-country and track and field, took a personal interest in me. I'm not sure why, but he did, and he talked with me about training ideas. And he was a man of clear convictions, and more than once he challenged me about something I said or how I managed a situation. 25 years my elder, he influenced the trajectory of my coaching career, and I gratefully fulfilled his request that I speak at his memorial service and gave thanks for how he influenced my life. Denny Wayman welcomed me and Allison to Free Methodist Church in 1980. He married us there. He involved us in the church, and he supported me in a church leadership role long before I thought I would be ready for that. He met me for breakfast each week for more than a year, even though he doesn't like breakfast, and he listened to my laments, my yearnings, my despair, my hope to grow in Christ. He didn't answer my questions. He gave me assignments and questions to make me think, and that was transformational. Evan Collins and Hal Conklin, we met together for 3 years while we were going through the discipleship program, and that friendship and wisdom and acceptance and hugs solidified my walk with Christ. Chris Milner, my colleague in kinesiology at Westmont, has been a supportive and caring friend for more than 40 years. She coached Allison on the tennis team, and we were colleagues teaching in the kinesiology department. And she's a chaff and grain person in my life. She listens intently, and then she finds the positive and presents it to me in an affirming manner. And she often could say, "That sounds really hard," or "What do you think about that?" And I continue to grow from this friendship. And then there's just the people you meet on a weekly basis: Joe Huerta, Phil Genthart, Dan Escobar, Rick Gutierrez, and other church greeters and friends who extend the hand of friendship and are faithful to do the work necessary for gathering of a church. And you see them working hard and faithfully and without complaint. Just they do what needs to be done, and you just want to join in. And then there was Doug and Nancy and Brad and Dawn, who have been our family group for 4 decades. God's gift of friendship, love, and understanding, which has changed me for the better and helped me be a better husband and a better father. Feeling loved and accepted and encouraged by them has been a foundational part of my life here in Santa Barbara. And Allison has loved me into trying to be a better form of me, a faithful friend and confidant to my struggles that God gifted me with, to be married with, and create a life with. Alyssa and Travis mentored me about God's grace as his gifts to me and Allison to nurture and love for a time as our children, and then for a lifetime as just being themselves. My mom, Russell Sugar Smelley, loved me no matter what. That's pretty foundational to be mentored that way. And then just in the world of life, Neil Diamond expressed my angst. Dan Fogelberg sang about my sense of romance. Billy Joel provided some social context. Reading the biography of Frederick Douglass this past summer raised my consciousness of courage, perseverance, fortitude, and pursuing a righteous cause. Dallas Willard's books made God real and tangible to my heart and soul. The movie It's a Wonderful Life reminds me to be grateful. And Brian Regan, a comedian, just makes me laugh talking about life. Friendships in general have made my life richer. I was mentored by little gifts given to me. So I'm just listening and learning how to follow Jesus. Has mentoring benefited me in my life? In every way imaginable.
This has been Wednesday Word with the Free Methodist Church of Santa Barbara. We hope that you will join us for worship this week. Our home church video will be posted at 7 o'clock a.m. on our YouTube channel, and we will be meeting for worship under the tent in our upper parking lot at 9:30 a.m. We hope to see you there.